7:05, and we said we would start then. So I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 7:05 p.m. Please call the roll.
Ms. Pearson?
Present.
Mr. Rollins?
Here.
Ms. Mohammed?
Here.
Mrs. McCulloch?
Here.
Mr. Siegel?
Here.
Mr. Connor? Ms. Stanford?
I don't know.
Here.
With 6 present, 1 absent, we have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll now take a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. At the start of each of our board meetings, it bears reminding that the mission of the Rockford Public Schools is to collaboratively engage all students in a first-class education for a changing world. Before we go any further, thank you, Connor Childers. Connor works behind the scenes to produce the board's broadcast via YouTube live stream and Comcast Channel 20. Tonight, we have time set aside for a public hearing on the tentative budget for the 22-23 school year. Do we have anybody who has put out a comment card? No. All right, there are no members who have signed up to speak on the issue of the budget, so we're going to move to the petitions and communication portion of our meeting. No? Do we still have to do the public hearing? Oh, we have no speakers. Oh, okay. Moving on. Thank you. So no speakers to the budget or no public speakers. So next on the agenda would be board member comments. Do any of the board members wish to make comments at this time? Mr. Siegel.
Thank you very much. This is our last meeting before the schools really start getting populated. Next week we will have teachers in, so welcome back, teachers. I hope that you have a great week of preparation and learning, and you have a great school year. And students will catch you at the next meeting. Thank you.
Ms. Pearson.
Thank you. I recently came across some information from the Hunt Institute and U.S. Department of Education, Redesigning Education, Accelerating Innovative Approaches with Federal Dollars. And I found the information rather interesting, and many times we don't focus on the global issue of the shortage that we're faced with, whether it is with teachers or bus drivers, administrators, and it is really a global problem. And I found it really interesting because this group was speaking on creating innovative ways to retain and employees or teachers and administrators. And it was so many components to it. I'll probably refer to it frequently, but this is the season that we're living in, that we really must come up with inventive ways, innovative ways of teaching, retaining, and recruiting teachers. And having said that, it is absolutely imperative that we do all we can to attract, recruit, and retain our teachers. And it talked about the fact of changing, or what should we do where it relates to the certification needed to teach, and what would that look like if that would change. And so the equity situation, the equity subject came up, and the greatest challenge is removing barriers that would interfere with teachers becoming teachers, and once they become teachers, how they're treated, and administrators, and to retain them. And I think that it is, the more I educate myself on the matter of the shortage and the epidemic that we're faced with in education, the more I realize that the challenge is greater than one person can solve. And it really is going to take all hands on deck. So it is a federal, state, and local problem. And of course, locally, we need to do whatever we can do to change the narrative, to make education attractive again, and to restore. And having said all that, as Mr. Siegel indicated, school is about to start. I ran into a community member who relocated because their daughter came home and said she was not going back to school because it was a fight nearly every day. And she became very frustrated, and he literally sold his home and moved into Boone County. And so I just want to encourage parents and students and parent liaisons, school administrators, board members, you name it, to do what we can to make our educational system successful. When we speak of equity, make sure that we are really doing the work and making things equitable, so we can have a more diverse district, whether it is in the classroom or district administration. I also want to recognize and specifically thank, while I am a board member that represents the entire city as a board member, I do want to specifically thank Trevita Redmond for her dedication, her loyalty, her commitment, for the service that she gave at the Kennedy High School. It was much appreciated, and I don't take any of the work that our administrators do for granted. I did get some feedback of a student. I'm not gonna call his name because I didn't get permission, but I just asked him how he was doing at school, and he said, Mr. Rundo is the best principal I've had in my life. And it's really good to get positive feedback, because this work is not easy. And sometimes we have to have uncomfortable conversations, crucial conversations, but at the end of the day, we need to figure it out, work together, and make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't see any other lights? Nope. All righty. Superintendent, I'll give you the floor for your comments.
My remarks will be very brief this evening. We are excited to welcome back our students and our faculty and staff, and are very focused on that. There is a great deal of work, as Mrs. Pearson alluded to ensuring that we continue the important work of ensuring our schools are staffed, and we are ready to go on day one on September 1st when students arrive. And the next 2 weeks are certainly the culmination of a lot of hard work, and we will be keeping the board and the community updated on our work to ensure that we have a high quality, safe, and well-designed learning environment at all 41 of our schools and our 3 charter schools. So with that, I will turn it back to the board.
Thank you. So we'll move to the consent portion of our meeting, which include items previewed by the board committee chairs during the committee of the whole meeting. The following are on our consent agenda. Payroll, accounts payable, purchase orders from fiscal year 22, purchase orders from fiscal year 23, air travel, construction pay request log, the RPS managed work change order logs, the change order log for ESSER and related projects, the monthly cash and investment report. Also include the meeting minutes from August 9th of 2022, contract purchase orders, workers' compensation settlement agreement, and the Freedom of Information log. Is there a motion and a second to approve the consent items?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any consent items board members wish to have pulled? No. Seeing no lights, I'll ask you to, Ms. Fromm, to call the roll on the approval of all the consent items.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Ms. Mohammed?
Yes.
Mrs. McCulloch?
Yes.
Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Mr. Connor?
Yes.
Ms. Stanford?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We're now at the closed session consent agenda, including the appointment of Aaron Rios as a 10-month assistant principal assigned to Kennedy Middle School. The appointment of Kai Gaffey as a 10-month assistant principal assigned to Kennedy Middle School. The appointment of Ayla Pekowski as a 10-month high school assistant principal assigned to East. The appointment of Amy Powell as an 11-month elementary principal assigned to Rolling Green. The appointment of Courtney Gray as a 12-month middle school principal assigned to Kennedy Middle School. The appointment of Gary Griffin as a 12-month high school assistant principal assigned to East. The appointment of Annie Pfeiffer as a 12-month dean of foundational and early literacy assigned to the administration building. The HR organizational report and addendum, and the IEP for GDM 8661-22. Is there a motion and a second to approve the closed session consent items?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any closed session consent items board members wish to have pulled for separate consideration? Seeing none, I'll ask Ms. Fromm to call the roll on all the items from 8 and 9.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Ms. Mohammed?
Yes.
Mrs. McCulloch?
Yes.
Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Mr. Connor?
Yes.
Ms. Stanford?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Are there any other business, new business, agenda recommendations, or board member action steps that board members might wish to bring to the board? Mr. Siegel.
At the risk of preventing us from having our shortest meeting ever, there were a couple of items that came up over the summer that we were hoping to have a conversation about at a later date, and I'm hoping that before the school year really gets going, we can have a chance to run these over. The first one was the attendance and success rates of the Live, Learn, Play programs, funded with ARP-ESSER dollars, and also the board policy in regarding student retention.
Yes, we are going to be bringing the board policy 6.280 to the October committee of the whole meeting, and we should have that report for Live, Learn, and Play by the end of September.
And everybody's seen that all the programs have been listed on the website already, and so those are the ones we'll be reporting on, right? Is it just the Live, Learn, and Play? We'll also have a report on our whole summer program as well, will we not? Okay, when will that be?
That is correct. We are going to be targeting the end of September. That will give us some time. A worst case scenario, depending on how the data comes in, we also have a board retreat that is scheduled for October 1st. Which is all about things that occurred at the start of the school year and over the summer operationally.
That's a Saturday morning. I hope you have it on your calendars, October 1st. Oh, yeah.
Great reminder for everybody.
I see wincing. The Live, Learn, and Play is separate. What did we call our summer programs? I'm sorry. Did we have a name for what the whole summer school was?
If it involves summer programming, we will attempt to report on the impact. So we had
everything.
Yes.
And that's in September.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. Anybody else? Thank you, Mr. Siegel. So those are on the to-do list, and I think they're already there, but now we have dates associated with them. All right. I think we still might make it. I don't know. I'll entertain, if there's no further comments or agenda recommendations, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. We're adjourned at 7:19. What? (13 minutes and 55 seconds).